My earliest memory of being molested was when I was 4 years old. It was Sunday school in Waukegan, Illinois, and the preacher's son ran the class with his wife, and he came in to take me to the bathroom. Usually I went with my bathroom buddy, and that day he took me in separately. Of course, my friend started crying. I was scared. After we left the bathroom that day, I felt violated and dirty.
From day one that I was adopted, I was started being groomed for molestation. My dad quickly was able to get me to a position where I was willing. I was just 5 years old, looking for somebody to love me and not throw me out.
I was taken under his wing like a father figure, and then like the father and daughter dates turned into makeout sessions, and when I'd question him and say, I don't know how you feel about me, I'm confused, he would get mad at me for questioning him and make me feel really terrible that I dare to question his motives or his intent. So each time it got worse, it would feel like that again. He would, after the first time he had sex with me, I said, I didn't want you to do that. And he's like, oh, well, are you going to let any man do that to you?
I finally got up enough courage to tell my principal what was going on. He was also the pastor of the church. I wanted it to stop. I just wanted to be a normal teenager. When I went to talk to him, I started off by telling him that I had been in a sexual relationship with someone, and he immediately stopped me. He told me not to say his name until I was absolutely sure I wanted something to be done about it. He told me that if I told him his name, he was legally responsible and had to report it. He then told me that if I come forward, I would ruin this man's life and ask if I wanted to be the one responsible for that. Of course I didn't. I thought I loved this man. By the end of the meeting, I had talked myself out of it, but my principal told me that since he knew I had been in a sexual relationship, that I had to tell my grandparents and that I would be punished for it at school as well.
I had multiple extraordinary experiences in this IFB church community, from experiencing an exorcism when I was an infant because they believed my crying was a sign that I was possessed by a devil, from going through an intense will-breaking session with my grandfather because I was rebellious as a 4-year-old, where I was locked in a room for hours with him until I learned to submit.
It's like a moth to a flame, these guys. I don't know how they do it, but that is their personality. People were just drawn to them, and they had this weird power over people, and people loved them, and I don't even know how to explain that phenomenon. I really don't.
When I got involved in the IFB school, they talked about rape and how it was the woman's fault, because she was probably wearing pants or eye makeup or, behaving in some sort of provocative way, which brought it on. It was even the girls' fault. Girls, yeah, they were to blame for their own rape and sexual assault.
When everyone heard what happened, I was expelled from school. I was kicked out of the youth group at church. The other kids at school were not allowed to associate with me. I was the victim, but in their eyes, it was all my fault.
I did try to tell people at the church. There were 5 different times that I've tried, and even CPS came twice. But I was told that I needed to forgive and forget, and that he had repented and his sins were under the blood.
And I had to also play the good Christian girl at school in the front row that wanted to learn about God. And at the same time, I was dying inside.
In that abuse atmosphere, to have, my parents' boss cover over basically what happened to me, and then by his son, and then to have it happen again years later, done, just done.